Hari Om. Good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome. Please come. Let's pray to the Almighty, seek His blessings. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, who is also the Karanam, the Karanam, together with utmost devotion, faith, and surrender, Prapatti, we all offer our humble salutations to you. To seek your grace, your mercy, your blessings, your love, your compassion, your strength, your fortitude, your forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Mumukshutva, Prapatti in much more proportion, only and only to understand thy true nature, have the first-hand experience, Aparoksha Anubhuti, in this very life itself. We beseech in you that at the end of our lives, we reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today, by the grace of God and the blessings of Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 356. 14th of November 2023. Shobhanakrit Nama Samvatsara, Dakshinayana Sharadrutu, Kartika Masa Shukla Paksha, Bhaumavasare, Bali Padyamithitau, Anuradha Nakshatre, Shobhana Yoge, Balavakarane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all make a firm resolve in our minds in a very determined manner with conviction. Na ham karta, hari karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartha. I am not the doer. I am not the karta. I am a witness to all that I perceive in my life. Every situation, every incident, every occasion, every circumstance, every happening, I know, O Lord, is at your behest, as per your command, as per your instructions. All this created in my life, which is coming up to me as challenges, hurdles, good, bad, evil, everything is sent by you only and only to uplift me, to give me the right amount of vairagya, dispassion, and to give me the right amount of knowledge to reach the pinnacles of the supreme knowledge. I beseech in you once again to keep showering this kind of grace on me, and wherever my devotion and surrender shatters, I beseech that you lift me up to the right levels and take me on this path to this eternal abode of bliss, peace, happiness, and self-realization. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So today, the outline will be as follows. We have got about 10 sadhaks who are going to talk about their personal experience in the last 3.5 years of the spiritual journey together. So that is about, you can say, 43-44 minutes. And so I'll try to conclude my session by 6:40-45, something like that. And then we continue with this 45 minutes session of knowing to understand your experiences. Now, I thought also that why don't we divide, like say here to some 20, half of them today and then half of them some other day. But then I felt we do it together so we get a precise and a holistic view of all the sadhaks. Okay, so now we move forward with the 8th and 9th verse, where if we understand this in the true sense, there are many things which we do not know. Like, for example, let's say the function of the brain and how an eye functions in relation to a brain. Now, this is something which at some point we got to learn. Okay, we have our eyes and there's an eyeball, and in that there is an iris, and through the lens of the eye there is an imaged form formed on the retina, and which is, again, it was a kind of a surprise for us that it is a reverse image which is formed there. And now this retina, through the optic nerves, it takes us through the neurons, to the neural pathways, it goes to the brain, and in the brain what we saw was a thought, a vritti. An image is formed in the mind, in the brain, that yes, if you're looking at a car, yes, there is an image of a car over there. And then the mind tells you this is a car. Now, what does an eye take? Eye takes only light. You see an object in front of you. Now, let's say you're having your TV or your mobile or your laptop. the object in front of you does not really enter your eyes. It is only the light on which the object you have in front of you, that light enters your eyes. Imagine the wonderness. Now that light entering your eyes, no object enters. Otherwise, imagine whatever we see, if it had entered our eyes, then what would have been our fate? Now, eyes receive only light. We got to understand this. And what does the mind receive? Only thoughts. There is no light in the mind or in the brain. So now, mind receives only thought, and there we got a thought. So, this is a process which we got to learn at some point of time in life. In the same way, now each and every perception of ours in our life, we have 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas. Now with all these 5 Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, here Lord Krishna is he has taken about 13 of them. All the usual mundane chores what we do on a daily basis, and he has tried to relate it with how you can involve devotion and see the God. And the conclusion is going to be fabulous. Behind each and every sense organ, there is a Devatha. I'm going to name the Devatas. Which is the Devatha behind the eye, which is the Devatha behind the ear, behind the nose, behind the tongue. And apart from the Devatas behind these senses, we also have the Devatas behind the function. Like eyes see. Eyes is a sense organ. What is its job? What is its function? Sight. Nose, the function is smell. So behind this sight, behind this sense of smell, behind the sense of touch, there is a Devata again. So we'll understand this. So then you will come to realize that what am I doing here? Accepting for the dry ego that I am the doer, which is by ignorance. Default setting. You have an electronic component, a mobile or a computer. There are some default settings. So we are all born with the default setting. Now, by the grace of the Shastras and the Guru, now the default setting is changed. This is what we should be happy about, that now we are going to change the default setting. So once you get Naham Kartha, Hari Kartha in the right manner, we have crossed over. We just need to be in that, that's it. And I'm so glad that many of you have spoken about Naham Kartha, Hari Kartha. And that shows that how seriously and deeply we are into this knowledge. Okay, now I'll just post the shlok once again, 8 and 9, and then we move forward. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Naiva Kinchit Karomiti Yukto Manyeta Tattvavita Pashyan Shrunvan Sprishan Jigran Ashnan Gachan Swapan Swashan Pralapan Visrujan Grannan Unmishan Nimishan Api Indriyan Indriyarteshu Vartanta iti dharayan. Now, what is this talking about? All activities. In our previous class, we studied about the initial ones which we studied was Pashyan, seeing, how to see God in all our activities of sight. Then Shrunvan, ears. Third one was Sprishan, touch. Even when you splash water on your face, or you're taking a bath, or you see the sweet water falling on your tongue, what a sense of touch it is. Sprishan, smell, jigran. Then comes ashnan, eating. And the sixth one is gachan, walking. How you can make walking, every step you take as a pradakshina. And sleeping. This is where we were in our last class, swapan. Now, so far everything was in a state of being awake. All these earlier qualities we saw, we were in a state of being awake. Now, Lord comes to a state where you are asleep. What is sleeping? Pradhyanada lingati, meaning one is extremely close to God over there. How do you say is close to God? Because when you go to a dream state, there is no body in the dream state. There are no senses. Only the mind is active. It creates a world of its own. That mind of ours in a dream state has created a world, and you start dreaming. You start dreaming. And as you go into the deep sleep state, mind also goes to sleep. And there you experience bliss, ananda. But there is a there is a twist here. We do not know that we are next to God because we are in ignorance due to our sleep. How do we come to know things? With the mind. And because our mind is not there, we are ignorant of the fact. Now, God has given me sleep. And, sleep to such an extent, I have forgotten everything. Like as a child sleeps in the arms of the mother, in the same way, I as a sadhak, you should visualize before going to sleep. I am sleeping in the arms of the Almighty. And one more thing, if you are able to sleep without sleeping pills, that's a great boon today. So, first of all, you are able to get sleep. Then when you sleep, you are able to have a cozy sleep. And you are sleeping without sleeping tablets. Now, after sleeping, at one point, something makes you get up. The Lord again makes you get up. What if you could not get up? Just think for a moment. Who made you get up? See, these are all routine things which mind has just made you accept it in the way it is. You have never thought about it. That is what exactly we are doing over here. We are putting in our thought and trying to understand in its depth. So, in both going to sleep and in getting up, see the grace of God. Then even that sleep becomes a worship. There are so many people who are not able to sleep. Sleep has really become a big hurdle to most of the people in their life. Now this way, with this attitude, if one lives his life, then the entire life becomes a worship. While you are awake and while you are asleep, you can only look at everything as a worship. What is the use of those 10 minutes or even half an hour or 1 hour or 2 hours sitting in a puja room or in a temple, and then you say, without going to a temple, I don't drink even a glass of water? What is the use? Make this gachan, swapan, swashan, every aspect. See the Lord behind that activity. And if you take your mind, yes, it will happen. Now, once you listen till the end, who are the devatas and all that. And if you're able to memorize and keep them, when you're seeing, who is the devata in the act of seeing. Who is the devata in the act of hearing. So then it becomes much more interesting. And once you know all these by heart, the 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, or the 10 Devathas, and then the Upadevatas for the function, then it is like constantly you are associated with that divine. Now imagine in sleep if breathing stops. Now the next one, 8th one is breathing. So after seeing, hearing, smelling, all that, it goes unaware in sleep. Okay? But breathing continues. Even while you are in sleep, it doesn't stop. If it stops, end of game. Then the disposal squad, it takes care. So, Swashan, one can say, I am awake and I was breathing, but who made you breathe while you were asleep? Thank that Lord, your grace is there on me. First of all, you're giving me sleep. And while I'm asleep, you're still ensuring that my breathing is continuing. See that act of God in that whole process of 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever you have slept. Immediately as you get up, thank the Lord. Because of you, I was able to sleep, get up, and breathe all along. You got it now? We all have slept. We all know that we were breathing, but that connect with God never came. So that is what we are learning here. How to make that, even a simple breathing, an act of worship towards God. The 9th one, Pralapan. Pralapan. Speaking. Speaking. Oh, abundant speaking. Non-stop speaking. Now, most of our talk during the day, if you observe, is wasteful, useless, meaningless talk. Rarely we talk something for a brief period which is of some meaning. In Sanskrit, pralapa means meaningless. Anarthakam vachaha. So, what is this? We don't have any control on what we are talking. How much should I talk? You know, talking is a big energy and we just waste it without any sensible talk. Even while you are doing this, let's say you are doing this useless talk also, bring God there. Be aware that every word, syllable, letter which is there in this universe comes from the Vedas. There is no single letter which is not from the Vedas. So have that in your mind. Okay, such situation, I am talking, but every word I am talking, when it is put in the right context, it is meaningless, of course, because I am not talking the right thing, but break it. And every syllable, go to the root of each and every syllable, it becomes a bija mantra by itself. Which I was thinking is materialistic, which I am thinking that it is shunya, meaning no meaning. I am in this circle, I have to talk. What they are talking, I also have to talk the same thing. I can't talk all the times. Spiritual or divine or religious or godly, no. So when you get into this kind of a pralapa, meaningless talk, immediately say, oh Lord, every word is divine and it is a worship. It is your name, your nama. I am using that over here. I am worshipping you with that letters. Then that becomes prakrishta alapa. Prakrishta alapa, meaning that which is embedded with the grace of Lord. So every sound will then have a meaning. For example, Vishnu Sahasranama, so many of us chant, but many of us do not know the meanings. But we recite. Now when you recite Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, even without knowing the meaning, there is a meaning to it, but we do not know. What happens? That meaning automatically, it takes its credit. Every sound has its meaning, as we said. Like for example, you see a lizard it makes some sound, it makes this kind of a sound. Now, when you do, what is the meaning of that? It is some astonishment you're expressing, some kind of a surprise you're expecting, some wonderstruck. So see that sound, simple sound. So in the same way, it's only our bhava. Bhava means our attitude. Sorry. That bhava, attitude behind our talking, that is important over here. Once there was a devotee, he goes to the temple. He knows that he's going to so and so temple, so he had prepared himself with a mantra in glory of that Lord Shiva. He was going to Lord Shiva's temple. He had by-hearted, but stroke of ill luck. When he went there, he was standing in front of the Lord, he forgets everything. And then what he does, cleverly, he says with the devotion, he says, "Oh Lord," I can't remember the shlok which I had memorized. So he said, "I'm going to pronounce the basic letters, a, I, U, U, E, O, 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 Ha, bas. You arrange them now. You know the shloka. I don't know. I've forgotten. You arrange this, all these words, and you think that I am glorifying you, I am worshipping you over here." So this way, that sound being it a meaningful talk, prakrishta alapa, or alapa which is meaningless, make it a worship. Now next comes Visrujan. Visrujan is discharge of our mala and mutra, your excretion, urination. My God, what is Lord Krishna talking about this? Imagine, just understand the process, how this is happening. Hunger God gave, we ate. Digestion He does. Extraction of nutrients from the food He does. You're already getting energy. Otherwise, you are not able to control your hunger. Now, not only the nutrients are extracted, He transports the nutrients to various parts of the body. Skin needs vitamin D, send only vitamin D. Eyes need vitamin A, send vitamin A. So this way, every part of the body, whatever it needs, now God ensures that it all goes in the right way to those various parts of the body. Now the right nutrient required to that part, and at the sigma 6 level, nothing else goes wrong over here. Now the important part is, there is waste which comes along with this process of digestion. He makes the right way to clear it out from the system. Imagine if all that waste had accumulated in your body, how would you feel? Just knowing this, what is happening, itself becomes a worship. My God, what did I eat? And how am I feeling now? Energetic. And eventually all the waste. Who made this? Did we do anything? Just think. Once you think, you appreciate that there is some force which is working on you constantly. 24/7 is a very ordinary term, I would say. Seamlessly, constantly, perpetually, incessantly. Recognize that force. One should not feel, how can I say, thinking of that urine and excretion, puja. No, this is not right. This is all filthy. I can't think of that. No. What you discharge and say filthy is food for some animals. Nature has made that way. It is a cycle process. Nature has made each one's food is from the waste of somebody else, and somebody else's waste becomes food for somebody else. How do we understand this? Now look at the plants. The waste of plants which is thrown out, that is oxygen, becomes food for our lungs. It is their waste. It is thrown, right? And now what we throw out, carbon dioxide, is food for plants. See this wonderful arrangement. This is the order of the universe. Once we understand this order and nature, then what happens is we fall gaga over the arrangement or order of the God, of the universe. That every process which is happening in this world, in this universe, in this nature, then you can see divinity and you can start worshipping it. In this Kasturi deer, you have this musk. And we know musk is a very, very expensive perfume. Highly rated perfume. Now, what is this musk which we pay in lakhs? It is nothing but it is a discharge from the abdominal region of this male deer. You can call it mala, as you can say. And see the value it has. Likewise, nothing in nature has to be considered filthy. Everything is divine over here. Then the next one comes is the 11th one, Grindan. Grindan is grasping. Main job of the hands. We take with our hands, we give with our hands. So we just need to again and again remember what we have. We are able to speak. God gave us the power to speak by the tongue, the vocal cords, the voice box. Look at that single aspect. So many animals, birds, insects, they do not have hands. They have only legs. We as humans, we have hands. Now, this is one of the stories from the Mahabharata which was told by Bhishma Pitamaha. One Rishi Kumara, he completed his studies in a university. He was now a scholar. As the graduation day happened, everybody left the university and they were seeking a job. Now he goes to several places, but he does not get a job. He was completely devastated. Everybody else is getting a job and I am not getting a job. So in this situation, he goes to a cliff on a mountain and is about to jump and commit suicide. Just at that moment, a jackal, which was behind him, it starts laughing. Slowly comes in front of him and he says, "Oh, what are you doing?" This fellow is astonished. He looks at the jackal and he says, "Why?" He says, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Look at us. Even though we have food in front of us, we are not able to take it with our hands and eat. If there is a fly sitting on our face, we don't have a hand to drive it out. You have got hands, legs, a fine pair of ears, eyes. We are handicapped. But you are, you Rishi Kumara, you are like a Purnatva Pura. Pura is of body. You are Purna. A human has got all the features and you are thinking of suicide." So then that was awakening for the Rishi Kumara. He gets back. So one has to understand that we, with this kind of a Purnatva body, we have to move forward. We have to feel that we are blessed at every stage. Whenever we are using our hands, imagine if you didn't have a pair of hands, or even if you had only one hand, or even if you had the hands but there were no fingers. Imagine. Recently, a friend of mine told me that in South Karnataka there is a temple, and in one of the rituals you need to perform in that temple is, if you have taken a vow and you want it to be fulfilled, you have to first go and offer prayers. After the prayers, they give you food. Prasad, what we call. And how do you eat this food? They serve it on the floor. And you have to keep both your hands at the back and eat it with your mouth, just like an animal eats. I was surprised. He said he had taken his daughter over there. Whatever she wanted to pray for the daughter. She's still in her early 20s, you can say. And she had to eat with her mouth to the ground. You know, what I was trying to understand, what is the logical reason behind this? It is only to show that don't feel deprived in life of your situation. Just imagine you have got these two hands. Without those two hands, how difficult it is to eat. So this is just that awakening. Then I could relate. This has got a great meaning. You will know the value of your hands. So we understood the value of hands. Unmishan nimishan. Opening of eyelids and closing of eyelids. Devatas cannot close their eyelids. It's always open. But for humans, when we go to sleep, we close our eyes and we go to sleep. Imagine what is there in your eyes. Suddenly a dust speck enters and there is water emitting from your eyes. Did you do anything for that? You don't even know when your eyes start watering, then you came to know that there was a dust speck, and then you rub your eyes, and along with that water, this speck comes out. See the protection God has created. All these indriyas are working in correlation, and we just need to feel the presence. So just observing the gifts what we have got in terms of the senses, you come to know that there is a universal presence over here. Now the eye sees object naturally. What have you done for that process? The eyes are not yours. The object in front of the eyes is not yours. Then how do you say that I saw? How do you say that? To understand that there is a broader spectrum which is working in this entire universe. When you understand that, how this whole process is happening, then you become a tattvavita. Tattvavita means knower of the truth. So this way, I see. When the eyes, they see, there is a abhimana devata, what we call. And who is the abhimana devata for the eyes? Sun. Now we are coming to the devatas behind each and every organ. Ears, you have dig devata. Then behind the eyes, ears, if I have to tell you about the other organs also, you have the skin, you have Vayu, then you have tongue, Varuna, nose, Ashwini Kumara. Okay, now what is the function of the ear, skin, eyes, tongue and nose? Hearing, feeling, seeing, tasting, smelling. Okay, you have a set of another devatas who are working behind this now. Suparni, Varuni and Parvati Devi. Garuda's wife, Suparni, she takes care of Shabda and Sparsha, meaning the function of sound and the function of touch. Suparni, Garuda's wife. And Shesha's wife, Shesha is the serpent on which Lord Vishnu is seated. His wife, Varuni. So she takes care of Rasa and Rupa. Rasa is tongue, Rupa is sight. Parvati Devi, who is the wife of Lord Shiva, she takes care of Gandha, which is smell. So, to understand all this, one needs that, yes, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm touching, I'm smelling. What you need? You need a mind. And for that mind to operate, who is the Devata? Chandra Devata. So if one needs to hear, he needs the help of the Devata of the ears, which is Dig Devata, and the mind Devata, who is the moon, and the function of hearing, he needs Suparni Devi. So if you are listening and if your mind is not cooperating, you will not understand what is told. Let's say you're listening, your mind goes somewhere else. What will you understand? Many a times you are seeing somebody, that person is saying, hey, he's saying, you are looking at him, but your mind is somewhere else. So even though you're looking, that person in front of you is not registered. So this way, you have these for sight. Who is the function of seeing? Sight? Varuni. For eyes, Surya Devata. For mind, to register what you have seen, Chandra Devata. All these three have to come together, and then you are able to see or touch or taste or smell. All this happens. When you get this knowledge, it becomes a worship. Now in the Karmendriyas, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastha, meaning you have the ability to speak, tongue, ability to grasp, hands, legs, that is motion, ability to excrete through the anus, and then that is ability to excrete, elimination of waste, and that ability to procreate through genitals, that is procreation. Now for speaking you have Agni Devata, for hands you have Indra Devata, for legs you have Vishnu Devata, and for anus function you have Mrityu Devata, and for procreation you have Prajapati. And what is the function? Speech, grasping, movement, locomotion, elimination of waste, and procreation. Now who are here now again? For Vak and Pani, hands and legs, you have Garuda's wife who is Suparni, for talking and action. Then Pada and Payu, for movement and anal discharge, you have Shesha's wife who is Varuni. Upastha, for urination and for reproduction, you have Parvati Devi. Getting now what all is involved over here? Such a approach has to be in our mind. What am I? Naham karta, hari karta. I am only, without knowledge, I am saying, I am seeing, I am touching, I am eating, I am walking, I am talking, I am hearing. What? Who is doing this? After getting the broad spectrum of this universe creation, see where we are. Once you have this knowledge, then sannyasa and karma yoga, nothing will bind you. You will cross everything. So this concept of spirituality, of the universal design, diagram and execution behind every action has to be understood. Then naiva kinchit karomiti. Naiva kinchit karomiti. Naiva kinchit karomiti means you know that you are not doing anything. Yukto manyet tattvavita. Pashyan, shrinvan, sprishan, jigran, ashnan, gachan, swashan, swapan, pralapan, visrujan, grinnan, unmishan, nimishan, indriyan indriyarteshu, vartanta iti dharayan. All this indriyani, it's all doing on its own. Understand this. Then you become a tattvavita. You have understood everything in the right sense. Don't ever say that I am doing anything. Even if you are talking, okay, you say, who spoke just now? You say, I spoke. But within your mind, know that the Lord, this so-and-so Devata is behind my sense organ, and so-and-so Devi is behind my function of that sense organ. Then what happens? It becomes a constant worship because you are doing something or the other. Even if you're not doing anything, if you have kept your eyes closed, you're still breathing. That one thing is enough. Your elimination process is in progress. Your digestion is in progress. Your mind is still working. You know how it is still wandering when you're sleeping, or sorry, when you're sitting idle. So get all these facts together and arrive at that strong conclusion: Naham Karta, Hari Kartha, Hari Preranaya, Hari Pratyartham. He is the doer. Surrender. That's it. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Okay, now we come to listen to the wonderful experiences of our sadhaks. We start with Shamala Vishak. In fact, in about an hour and a half, she sent me the recording after we sent the post.
Battery 80%. Connected to iPhone. To be honest, from your lecture, Hari Om Guruji, to be honest, from your lectures, I have many take points. And obviously, if I list them all out, it is going to take a long time. So I'm going to keep it very crisp. So the first take point for me, which has really made a big difference, the first one is the story that you spoke about the Buddha Bhikshu. This Buddha Bhikshu was told by his guru to go to a specific road for bhiksha or route for bhiksha. There he meets a very attractive woman who is very good to him, and this Buddha Bhikshu feels attracted towards her. He comes back and tells his guru everything honestly and says that I don't want to go there from tomorrow because I feel attracted to that lady. And his guru told him that you need to observe your thoughts, be aware of your thoughts, and then regulate and gain mastery over your thoughts. And that is your sadhana. So this is the story. Of course, you had said it quite elaborately, but for me, it made a big difference because I truly started practicing in my own small way this whole concept of Sakshi Bhava from this explanation. And I think Sakshi Bhava is a very, very important thing for sadhaks. The second thing that has, for me, it was a big important learning for me was the difference between karma, akarma and vikarma, which you had explained very beautifully using Dhruva's story about how young Dhruva's mother, the second wife of King Uddhanapada, Suruchi did not like Dhruva at all because she wanted her son to become the king. So this entire story, the way you had narrated it, it made me really contemplate and think about so many things, including Suruchi's behavior. When Suruchi saw Dhruva sitting on his father's lap on the throne, why was she so angry and so agitated? It was a very harmless sight, and yet she was so agitated because it was what was within her that agitated her, not the sight per se. So it made me really realize that it is what is within you that comes out in all interactions. And yes, this whole thing of how akarma is roasted seeds and how every karma, if done properly, can be made into roasted seeds. That became very clear to me after understanding this story from you. And yes, and vikarma also about how dereliction of duty can be a great karma, bandhana or bondage. So Guruji, because since there is a time limit, I will have to stop here. And lots of thanks, and I particularly want to thank you because I know I have called you many times for clarification of doubts, and every time you have actually explained it so well and taken time out and explained so patiently to me. Thank you so much for that.
Incidentally, I had asked her to send some more points. So the second one goes for another close to 3 minutes.
Hari Om. Overall, the structured study of Bhagavad Gita and listening to your lectures, Guruji, it has been of immense source of strength for me. What do I observe in myself overall through this systematic study is that overall my calmness, I feel very calm, at least a lot of times. The contentment, I also feel very contented. You also taught us how to have this attitude of gratitude. So by constantly feeling very, very grateful for everything that we get, it is like a gift from God. Overall appreciation of everything and everybody around us has increased. Especially in challenging situations, I find this knowledge to be like a pillar of strength. I've also learned, thanks to you and Krishna's grace overall, I've also learned how to be in a respond mode and not immediately react to situations. The Nama Japa that started with you, that is the Mahamrityunjaya Japa, is continuing, and that by doing that Japa, instantly at the end of that mala itself, I feel very calm. And now it has become a regular practice, because of which I feel very deeply connected with the divine, and I definitely feel very, very blissful because of that. I shared this with many of my friends, and some of my friends have also started this practice of Mahamrityunjaya Japa. And they also say that they are feeling so calm now than when they started it. I feel very grateful for all your explanations that you have given me from time to time, and that I keep reminding myself and keep revising. Most important being that be a true karma yogi, do all the work with devotion, and offer the results to God, and so then develop this prasada buddhi. So when we develop this prasada buddhi, automatically we feel whatever be the results, we are in a more accepting state of that. So thank you so much, Guruji. The list kind of goes on, but I thought I will keep it very crisp. And thank you so much once again.
Moving on, we now have Shri A. Sridhar.
Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om. I would like to bow down at the feet of Guru and offer this understanding as a flower at the feet with utmost humility. I would like to offer as if a child would offer to parent, wherein if any correct understanding is there, it is the teachings of scriptures by Guru. If any faults are there, it is purely my wrong understanding. Would request humbly to take what is right and ignore the wrong. For the long time, initially during spiritual journey, some of the thoughts were embedded strongly and deeply. I consider them to be the biggest and the toughest hurdles to spiritual journey. To name a few, God realization is for sadhus, sannyasis. This was very strongly, deeply rooted in mind. Why this comes to mind is the severity of sadhana, dedicating mind, body, and one's own life to God. Absolutely devoid of world, relationships, and family too. And that's not it. Completely destroying the ego or identity, going beyond mind and body, trying to understand that which cannot be reached by any of our senses. Well, this sounds impossible for a grihastha like me. Would like to say, with grace of Guru, nothing is impossible, truly. Saying this, I would like to directly come to the point and mention the concept which has deeply impacted in this spiritual journey. Initially, the first and the foremost is forgive and forget. So first, thing is to forgive yourself wholeheartedly for making all sorts of mistakes. Completely forget the wrongdoing of others to you. This significantly elevates us in the path. The second thing is to kill desires. This may sound familiar. Yeah, we know we should not desire. It's the basics in the spirituality. Always we feel desiring more, and the next best thing, what we already have, is desire. But no, here the fine print is not to desire even the smallest of things or something which is in your immediate reach, and nobody would say that is a desire. Also, one more important factor is the word kill. That means no mercy should be shown to the desire at any cost. Now, the other important factor which I felt is really elevated or pushed in the path of spirituality is going beyond mind and going beyond this cross body. This sounds impossible, and really felt this is for dedicated sadhakas, mostly sannyasis, who dedicate their whole life 24/7 in the quest of God. But with the knowledge that mind is a jada, a thing just like any other part of the body, this concept elevated to the higher height in the spiritual path. You may ask how. For the first time, you start to witness the mind, meaning you tend to watch the mind and realize, yes, we are other than the mind. For getting into in-depth understanding of how mind functions and its various compartments like manaha, buddhi, chitta and ahankara, you are eligible to get mastery over it over time. Now, last but not the least, which gave a real understanding of spirituality and practical ways to implement, is the exposure to Advaita Vedanta. It gave a whole new paradigm and surprisingly not contradicting any of my earlier learnings. It even made the understanding of the earlier teachings very clear and showed ways to implement practically in day-to-day life. That sounded very much impossible initially. The ultimate reality is Sat Chit Ananda, and gradually you realize that there is one reality, and now not as a concept anymore, but as a living reality. Then you start to experience it in every walk of life, no matter what stage of life you are in. Especially for Grihasthas, this is like oasis, where you are lost in the desert of various scriptures and paths, but unable to find the reality. Understanding reality as Satchit Ananda made things which looked impossible possible now. Witnessing the mind destroying the false ego and understanding in essence our true self as Sat Chit Ananda paved way for destroying the desires with ease. Apologizing for my bad throat, I would like to offer this flower at the feet of Guru and Almighty. Hari Om. Thank you.
Now we have Srimati Gyani Pandey.
Hari Om Guruji, Hari Om Padmaja, Hari Om dear sadhaks. It was truly God's grace that I met Padmaja. Who cannot be her friend once one has met her? We became friends, and that led me to these discourses and Guruji. It has been a truly enriching journey. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita through these discourses have not only transformed my outlook towards others, but it has also brought in many positive changes in me. It is all thanks to Guruji's effective and captivating way which goes right into the heart. First, let me talk about the Shadripus, the 6 enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya, being brought up on a healthy diet of stories from Bal Kalyan, anecdotes from Mahabharata, Ramayana, Panchatantra, and Jatak Kathas, from parents and grandparents, and Indian culture classes in school. 5 of these 6 enemies sort of never troubled me much. But my biggest enemy, Krodha, पीछा ही नहीं छोड़ता था. Guruji explained about FIR. Observing myself, I witnessed FIR was working. The frequency, the intensity were reducing, and resilience, I was bouncing back to normal quite quickly. Now, after 3.5 years, I feel calm. I don't react to people or situations, reminding myself quickly that I am different from my mind, and then it is such a good feeling. In 6th or 7th grade, we had a shloka in our Sanskrit textbook. Udaye savita rakto raktaha cha astamaye tatha sampattau cha vipattau cha mahatam ekarupata. The sun looks red while rising and setting. Great men too remain alike in both the good and the bad times. As a child, it seems so simple because children are simple. As we grow up, the ego too grows up at double the speed, and we realize it is not so simple to be like that, son. Then Lord Krishna, through Bhagavad Gita, has to tell us about being in the state of nirdvandva, being not affected by the dualities of life, like pain, pleasure, joy, sorrow, honor, dishonor. In one of the discourses, we understood, take the pinpricks of life and accept it without complaining. It has come from your past karma. It is like paying your EMI. You have done something in past, so you are repaying it now. Take it positively. Here again, FIR is working. Now the dualities of life do not trouble my mind much. All we have to do is keep reminding ourselves, no, it's not you, it's your mind. These are only pinpricks. And I start reciting either Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Mahamrityunjay Mantra. These are my calming pills. From Tattva Bodha, the concept of Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka affected me a lot. And especially after all that we went through during COVID period, why do I need these material things which are all impermanent? We have to rein in our desires for people and objects. Lord Krishna says, just as a tortoise withdraws its head and all the limbs into its shell, in the same way a person of stable mind, sthita prajna, will not allow his senses to go out. He will withdraw all his senses whenever he sees something very alluring or very demanding. I think of the tortoise and withdraw myself from all attachments and desires. Most of the time it works, but sometimes my head and limbs come out of that shell. Now I have to work on Shama, control over mind. And in Discourse 352 and 353, Guruji gave us a wonderful example of Hanumanji when he could not focus his mind even after meditation and pranayama. He came up with a strategy, yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra tava pada pankajam. Hey Ram, wherever my mind goes, let your holy lotus feet be there. Now even I am trying this. Whenever I am not able to focus, I remember this. Hey Ram, jahan jahan mera man jaye, wahan wahan aapke charan kamal ho. It is a stepping stone to a long, winding way ahead. Another shloka that has an immense impact on me is Naham Kartha, Hari Kartha, and now combined with Naiva Kinchit Karomi Iti, the concept that this body and mind and senses complex is only an instrument and I am not the doer has gone deep within. We will progress by reminding ourselves that we are just a witness and not the doer. This is easier said than done. I have to learn a lot. I have to do much better and improve on this path of spirituality. Thank you, Guruji, for leading us on this path. It is not just Bhagavad Gita. You have invested so much time and thought to make it a full package, including Tattva Bodha, Bhaj Govindam, Shiva Pradakshamapan Stotram, meaning of prayers from Upanishad, Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam, and much more. We are all ever grateful to the Lord for blessing us with your Sanithya and Satsang. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama.
Now we have Srimati Meeta Vora.
Hari Om. Sadar pranams to Guruji. I sincerely express my gratitude for you and Padma. Listening to your discourses is like bhakti for me. You explain each shloka in very simple manner. The beautifully narrated stories and examples make it easier to follow the essence of Bhagavad Gita. I listen to the discourses many times, and each time I understand it better. It has helped me to know my true self. Your repeated reminders of seeing God in every being has made me a more balanced person. About Sakshi Bhava and observing your mind, the process of separating me from my mind has been so smooth that I am now able to observe the direction of my thoughts and can control and divert them through continuous chanting of Mahamrityunjay mantra. About theory of karma, as you mentioned, that whatever happens to you is the karma phala of your past deeds, of this life or of any of the previous lives. This fact has touched me so much that I accept everything that comes my way as prasad from God and feel blessed. Thank you from bottom of my heart for guiding us through this divine journey. Thank you so much, Guruji. Thank you. Hari Om.
Moving on, we now have Srimati Durga Suri.
My pranams to Guru Parampara. Koti Koti pranams to Almighty for accepting me and taking me into His fold. And my pranams to Guruji Srinivasji for the Gita explanation in such a simple language, yet very effective manner. My lack of knowledge about how to behave with people in different manners and in different conditions is easily lifted by Gita teachings. My anger and frustrations when things never happened according to my expectations and my judgment about every situation and also people is erased by Gita. My own feelings and behavior about so many people within the family and outside slowly started to decrease and made me understand them that different people behave differently with different people in different situations. This awareness I found in me after I have learned the karma concept from Bhagavad Gita, and I understood that everyone is affected by their own past karmas, either good or bad. So I understood that we have to do action, but leave the fruit to the God. Don't expect anything. This made me understood my own thoughts, which used to be put into words and into actions. I started observing myself why problems are rising in my life. So I stopped judging people by their talking and behavior and started analyzing my own behavior with others and slowly got into the habit of correcting myself. Especially after I started the japa regularly, I felt God's presence in each and every act of mine and took Him as my constant companion in my daily chores. Today I just feel happy to leave all my happiness and also unhappiness to the Lord and feel assured that He is there to guide me. Now I don't worry about anything or anybody, even if they ignore me or misbehave with me. I just surrender every act, every word, deed, everything to the Lord. I hope to understand His teachings more and more to the core and imbibe them into my life. Thank you very much, Guruji. Hari Om.
Now we have Srimati Nikki Jindal.
Hello everyone and Hari Om Vasasa. Thank you for everything, for all your experiences. When I met you first time and you offered me to do Sukshma, I was like, why will I go in the jungle and do Sukshma? And today I love trees. I would like to take a walk in the forest. It's all because of you. The way everything changed in my life because of the kind of a regular practice and the knowledge, the things that I have learned from you. There are countless experiences where you have uplifted me. I remember one incident when I called you in the morning and you said, don't live in your past or don't live in your present. Just observe now your present. Observe your thought. You are not the doer, and let it pass. And slowly you will understand how to surrender these thoughts to a Lord. It was a very powerful message which registered really well in my mind. There are many incidents where I had never chanted in my life. I was always into the other world of going out, traveling, or maybe different stuff will give me happiness, but ultimately the spirituality, the kind of a knowledge I gained from your sessions were amazing. The story of Money Mama has impacted me so much that how to let go of your aham bhav. It was very, very good one. And there was another story which impacted me really well was that lady, that beautiful lady, and one saint goes to her and he was attracted to her, and how she changed him and he didn't have to give up his spirituality. So all these things have really impacted me. The kind of a discipline and the kind of availability you have shown is no other guru can be available like this, because many gurus are there were not available for the devotees. I can pick up a call and ask you, and then you'll actually guide me. So there was an incident where you actually made me believe that I can climb up 3,500 stairs in Tirupati, which I did barefoot after you motivated me. You have not only motivated me, it's my family as well. So because of you, my son and daughter started keeping Ekadashi. So all kind of a chant which was introduced by you was actually I am following, and my kids are also following. So Vishnu Sahasranama, Mahamrityunjay, Gayatri Mantra. I remember my son asking you that my favorite Lord is Hanumanji, and can you please give me some chants on Hanumanji? And I remember you sending me that recording, and he still does it. While we are going to the school, we always meditate. And then he's chanting all these chants, both my kids. And they both started keeping Ekadashi because of you. I had never kept any fast or anything because I was never introduced to the kind of rituals you both follow. So it was very, very important for me to understand the kind of understanding I got seeing you and performing so many homas in your house. I had experienced lot of peace, and it's a different feeling which I can't express in words. Thank you for so many incidents which I can't complete today because the time is very less, but thank you for giving me this kind of a positivity, and my life has changed from that girl who had traveled the world to this girl who sits and does puja and chanting and believes in spirituality. And because of you, it's only not me, my husband also started listening to Vishnu Sahasranama in the night, and now we all know what are chants and what is the power of chanting. So thank you so much. I am grateful and will be always grateful to have you in my life. Thank you.
Now we have Srimati Jaya Mohandas.
Hari Om Guruji. I am Padma speaking on behalf of Jaya Mohandas. The concept that has changed not only mine but my family as well is Naham Kartha, Hari Kartha. Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartha. Everything, good or bad, is coming from the Lord, except with Prasada Buddhi. Initially, it was very difficult to accept, but now it has been etched in our hearts. Detached from Jiva Bhava, whatever is happening in our life is just because of our Prarabdha Karma. Be just an observer. Our job is only to think about Lord. It's Lord's duty to think of setting things of a bhakta. In many cases, Lord has proved to us that He will not leave us in times of difficulty. Namaskaram.
Now we have Mrs. Leela Subramaniam, who is a mother-in-law of Shamla Vishak.
Hari Om Guruji. I am Padma speaking on behalf of Leela Subramaniam, Shamala's mother-in-law. To leave the doership bhavana completely. This helps in removing ego and also remove stress. This is how she has written, how Gita has helped her. Certain amount of peace sets in when we realize that we are only an actor and the director is someone else. We trust the director and therefore no question of stress. Second one is Nama Japa. By doing this, we are able to remove all the unnecessary thoughts. We are actually able to empty our minds. Our antakarana, we can feel, is slowly getting cleaned. I also feel that Supreme Mother is protecting us. So why do we need to worry at all? Hari Om.
Mrs. Vinita Ganguly.
Hello Sadhaks, I'm Vinita Ganguly. My spiritual journey under the guidance of our Guruji is very blissful and peaceful. There have been times when due to outer world distractions, my sadhana gets interrupted, but I try to do at least 8 japas on an average daily. Whenever I do my chores, I dedicate it to the Lord and accept everything as prasad. I also say Naham Kartha, Hari Kartha, due to which I feel the activities done are more effective, as the Lord Himself is doing them and I am just an instrument following the instructions. I feel life now is less stressful and I feel more happier. I thank Guruji for taking us through this wonderful spiritual journey. Thank you, Guruji.
Now we have Srimati Madhubati. I'll read out. She has sent a note just some time before the class started. Spiritual journey. Firstly, want to thank Guruji and Padmaji for this opportunity. When I started the journey, it was like giving myself to distract from the regular housework during lockdown. Though some days I was distracted during the class, I would try to be regular. Coming to what changes I feel in me are, in layman terms, 1. I am more relaxed and patient. Try to think before reacting. A long way to go. 2. I try to think whether it's my ego or self-respect that's in question. 3. I try not to expect. Whenever I feel I expect something, I think I need to do my work and leave the rest. 4. Initially, when I started chanting Mahamrityunjaya mantra, I was duty bound. Now I feel incomplete till I finish my chanting. It has become a part of me. 5. Whenever I feel I am being ruled by greed or jealousy, I think of God. 6. I am accepting people as they are. If my self-respect is in question, I try to stay away. 7. My thought process is trying to be more positive. I still have a long way to go, but at least I started, and all thanks to Vasuji and Padmajaji. So now we have the last recording sent by Ranjit Pupala.
Hari Om Srinivas Guruji and Padmaja Garu and all my dear sadhaks. My name is Ranjit Pupala. I am in Sydney, Australia. I've been connected to Swamiji Discourses by one of my very good friends, Sumanta and Somya from Melbourne. And I was looking to grow spiritually. So they highly recommended to listen the discourses of Srinivas Guruji. And when I started listening to the Srinivas Guruji's recording, they impacted me a lot in my life journey. And because I never listened those discourses such clearly and clearly explained to me, to us, and I think it's a very great blessings. So Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. My heartful gratitude to Srinivas Guruji and Padmaja Garu for taking some time of their busy lives and helping all us to grow spiritually and all in our daily life. And listening to the discourses, I learned a lot. I didn't know Dhanvantari mantra, Mahamrityunjaya mantra, and I didn't even know Shiva Pradakshinam Pampana Stotram. And I listened all other devotional songs which I didn't heard before. And after listening to the Shiva Kshamapana, Aparadha Kshamapana Stotram, I offered Dhoop sticks and Bilva Patra to Lord Shiva and lotus flowers to Lord Vishnu. And I am chanting the Mahamrityunjaya mantra every day and Dhanvantari mantra. And all this helped me to grow. Listening to discourses and everything, they helped me and my family to grow in all aspects of the life. And to name few is, after talking to the Guruji, I started bathing every day. Before I used to skip bathing, and I started bathing every day. And I offering Surya Namaskar to daily to Surya Bhagwan and doing japas every day. And I stopped eating non-veg on Ekadashi. and I stopped eating ginger. I stopped eating garlic and onion, and I joined Chinmaya Mission here in Australia, and I happened to meet Swami Sarupananda Swami, the global head. When he visited Australia, I got to chance to listen to his discourses as well, and I never thought I will buy a property in Sydney, but it happened where God has blessed me to buy property in Sydney, and yeah, the first property when I went for auction, it didn't get me, and I was upset at that time. Why didn't I didn't got that one? But second time when we went for the auction, this was the best house than the first one. So have faith in the God, and the God will put best for his sadhaks. Whoever have faith in them. So always believe in yourself, believe in God, and everything, whatever happens for good. And with this, I don't want to take much time, and I thank once again Srinivas Guruji, Padmaja Garu, and all the team, for entire team for putting this together, and I thank Srinivas Guruji for putting his time and effort, for giving us the knowledge to drive away our ignorance, and I am very thankful to you, Srinivas Guruji, and for putting these discourses through online, and we can stay in our home and we can listen to it. Thank you very much, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you, everybody. I'm sure we all can draw conclusions from the experiences of others. And it also gives us a decent amount of confidence that somebody has been able to achieve, which I am looking at, and I too will be able to achieve sooner or later. May these experiences mutually help us to grow to greater heights on the path of spirituality. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together, we offer today's Gita Jnana Yoga at the lotus feet of the Almighty and seek His grace, mercy, and blessings. Naham Karta Hari Karta Hari Prernaya Hari Prityartham. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat.